Lesson Day Grade 11 learners. This is General Mathematics Strengthened SHS Curriculum. So we are now on part 2 of our discussion. We are still on lesson 1.1, Understanding and Computing Salary, Wage, and Commission. So for our learning competency, we will follow the same, but our learning objectives for today will be different. First, at the end of the session, the student should be able to compute weekly wages by multiplying the daily wage with the number of workdays in a week. Second, analyze and solve real-life problems involving daily and weekly wages, including scenarios with allowances or commissions. And lastly, we will differentiate wage computation methods such as daily wage, piece rate pay, and overtime rates to determine total weekly income. Are you now ready? So let's have an activity number 4, which is understanding. So the title of the activity is Pack or Gunner. So read the following. So you simply write Pack if the statement is correct and Gunner if it is not. You have to reflect your answers on your GenMath notebook. So we'll be doing it very quick, but this is an important activity. So let's check how well you understand key income related terms like wages, net income, deductions, and benefits. So when you decide if it's PAC, it means it is correct. Or when it's gonna earn, it means it is incorrect. Are you starting now? I'm giving you a minute. Hopefully, you are now answering item number 3. Okay, let's start checking. Let's have item number 1. Wages are usually calculated based on how many hours or days a person has worked. What do you think? Is it PAC or GANERN? Correct. The answer is PAC. Yes, wages are based on the actual time worked. That's why many workers like store cashiers or construction helpers are paid per day or per hour. So these are practical examples. Let's have item number 2. Net income is always higher than gross income. Is this PAC or GANERN? Correct. The answer is GANERN. Net income is what you take home after deductions, like taxes or contributions. It's almost less than your gross income, not more. Let's have the third item. Taxes are deducted from an employee's income before they receive their salary or wages. PAC or GANERN? Very good. The answer is PAC. This happens during payroll. So you'll see the deductions in your payslip like the SSS, GSIS if you are working in the government, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig contributions before you receive your net pay. Always remember that. Let's have the fourth item. Benefits such as bonuses, health insurance, and paid vacation days are not part of a worker's income. Is this accurate? PAC or GANERN? Correct. The answer is GANERN. Always remember that benefits may not be in your monthly cash salary, but they're still part of your income package. So these includes bonuses, health coverage, and paid leaves, and they matter a lot. Let's have the last item. A person's gross income includes their salary or wage before any deductions are made. Back or ganun? Correct again. The answer is back. Gross income is the total earnings before anything is taken out. It's your full pay before taxes, loans, and contributions. Great job, class. So this activity helps you understand real-world income concepts. So important for budgeting, reading pay slips, and knowing your rights as future workers. Remember, learning about income isn't just math, it's life preparation. So we can now proceed to the next part of our discussion, which is computing weekly salary from daily wage. So this part is all about computing your weekly salary and how it connects to real life situations faced by many Filipino workers. So you'll see that the problems are contextualized within the Pampanga, and you'll see that each peso earned is the result of hours worked, bonuses given, and the commission earned. And we'll break down one by one each problem at a time. Are you now ready? Let's have the first problem. So the first problem talks about the barista's weekly wage. So Kate works as a barista. She works 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and earns 60 pesos per hour. So let's compute her weekly wage step by step. So for the hours per day, she worked 8 hours. And for the days that she worked, we have 5. The total number of hours this week can be, um, you can get it by multiplying 8 times 5, which is 40 hours. And the hourly rate is 60 pesos. So to get the weekly wage, we will multiply 40 by 60 to get the final answer, which is 2,400. So the answer should be written in a statement. So in here, we say that Kate earns 2,400 in a week. So you can change the sentence structure for as long as the syntax of the sentence is correct. Your final answer will be considered. Always remember that when we talk about real life connection on this problem, baristas and service workers often work fixed shifts. So knowing how to compute their weekly salary helps them budget for food, rent, and savings. So this is just simple math, but this is a big impact for those who are working in a coffee shop like this. Let's have the second problem. So as you could see, the second illustrative example shows how a warehouse helper works with overtime pay. So in this problem, Jessie earns 70 pesos per hour and worked 45 hours this week. So any hours beyond 40 are considered overtime. And in their company, they pay him 1.5 times the regular rate. So as per labor code, it's only required to have 25% overtime pay rate. But in this case, the company is very generous because the company is giving 50% of the regular rate. So Jesse should be thankful of the company. So to solve this problem, let us compute the total number of regular hours in a week as defined by the Labor Code of the Philippines. So the regular hours is 40. And then to get the regular pay, to get the overtime hours, we will subtract 45 to 40. Next, to get the regular pay, we have 40 times 70 pesos. So the regular pay is 2,800. And for the overtime rate, we will multiply 70 pesos by the 1.5 hours since the company gives 50% of the hourly rate. So if you would look closely, half of 70 is 35 pesos. So adding 70 and 35 pesos is 105. But in simple multiplication, which is 105 pesos. Of course, we will still multiply the rate 105 with the number of overtime hours. So that is 5 times 105, which is 525 pesos. So to compute for the total weekly wage, we will add the regular pay, which is 2,800, and the overtime pay rate, which is 525 pesos. So the total will be 3,325. So to complete our final answer as a statement, Jesse's total weekly wage is 3,325. So remember that overtime is common in logistics and warehousing, just like those people who are working in Shopee, Lazada, and TikTok Shop. So workers must understand how extra hours affect their pay so that they can advocate for fair compensations. Is that clear? Let's move now to the third example. So the third example seems to be familiar with you. Do you know this place? So we'll talk about the real estate agent's weekly income. So in here, LV earns a base pay of 2,000 pesos weekly salary with 2% commission. So you see, and then she sold a total of 500,000 worth of property. So how do we solve problems involving commission rates like this? So remember that commission-based jobs like in real estate or sales reward performance. So knowing how to compute this helps professional track their productivity and earnings so that there will also be fair compensation among real estate agents. So let's try to solve this one. So for the solution, we have the base salary or the fixed salary, which is 2,000 pesos. And to compute for the commission, we cannot right away compute 2%. So we will move two decimal places, 1, 2, to get our multiplier. So our multiplier is 0.02. So meaning 2% is equivalent to 0.02. A lot of students get confused with how to convert 2% because sometimes they mistakenly write it as 0.2. But remember that 2% is 0.02. Then multiplying it by 500,000, so we get 10,000 pesos. So to get the total weekly income, we add the base pay and the commission, which is 10,000. So notice that sometimes real estate agents have higher commission pay compared to the base salary, but it will always depend on their day-to-day performance. So to complete the final answer, LB's total weekly income is 12,000 pesos. So we can consider this as a high-paying job if LV will get more property sales. So this is one good thing about commission. But the negative side of this is that the base pay is very low. So if in case that LV is not selling properties or condominiums, for example, so she won't be able to sustain the income for the weekly income. So I hope you understand. Let's have the fourth example. So in here, this is a perfect example of a piecework. So piecework is common in tailoring and manufacturing. Workers need to track how many items they complete to calculate accurate weekly income and check if they are paid fairly. So this is a sewer's piecework income. So as you notice, Eugene is paid per piece. So he is paid 25 pesos. So for the week, he made 150 pieces and also gets a weekly allowance of 300 pesos. So how do we solve this problem? So first, we write the given, which is the payment per piece, which is 25 pesos. And the total number of pieces that he worked is 150 pairs of uniform. So to compute for the piecework earnings, we multiply 150 times 25 pesos. So the total piecework earnings is 3,750 pesos. You can double check that one using your scientific calculators. And of course, we add the transportation allowance, which is 300 pesos. And the total weekly income now will be 4,050 pesos. So remember that there is also a negative side of a piecework because the pay is very low. So there is just a pro bono, no, that the company gives transportation allowance. So hopefully many companies will give what is due to these workers because without producing a product, then Eugene's weekly pay or income might be lower as expected. So to complete the final answer, Eugene's total weekly income is 4,050. Let's have the last problem for this part. So the next problem talks about a sales clerk with overtime, bonus, and a commission at the same time. So there are a lot of bonuses here. So this example shows a combination of hourly pay and bonuses, which is very common in retail jobs such as this. So knowing how to compute everything, awareness and confidence. So let's talk about Harley's problem. So Harley earns 65 pesos per hour and work regular hours for 40 hours plus the overtime pay hours this week. He also gets 1,000 monthly bonus. So we still need to divide it by 4 to get the weekly income and a total of 500 sales commission for this week. So let's try to figure out how much will be the total earnings or income, weekly income of Harley. So first, for the solution, the regular pay is equal to 40 times 65 pesos. So that will be a total of 2,600 pesos. To compute for the overtime rate, we will multiply 65 pesos by what is mandated by the law. So that's 25% of the regular hour rate. So that's the multiplier is 1.25. So the overtime rate for the hour for an hour of overworking is 81 pesos and 25 centavos. Now, to compute for the total overtime pay, we will multiply it by the total number of overtime hours. So that's 8 times 81 pesos and 25 centavos. And that will be 650 pesos. For the weekly portion of the monthly bonus, we will divide 1,000 by 4. So the bonus will be 250 pesos. And for the total, that's 500 pesos. So to get the total income, we will add the regular pay, which is 2,600, the overtime pay, the bonus, and the commission. So we add all those 4. And then the total, you check using your calculator, all of these 4, the total will be 4,050. pesos. So Harley's total weekly income is 4,000 pesos. So this is already our final statement or our final answer in a form of a statement. So grade 11 students, understanding how wages are computed helps us appreciate the hard work of our fellow Filipinos and prepares us for financial independence in the future, whether you're paid by hour, by commission, or per item, just like what has been presented in the previous problems. So we should know how to compute your income that will empower you. So don't just solve, you have to understand the problem. Don't just compute, you have to connect it into real life situations. So we are now going to proceed to the next topic. So in this part, no, it will help us answer a practical questions many professionals ask. How do we really earn per week based from an annual perspective? So this is important for budget, planning, and even comparing job offers. So let's look at the 5 real-life scenarios involving Filipino workers in the Kapampangan context and learn weekly salary from annual income, including overtime, bonuses. So we have changed perspective from annual. First, let us talk public school teachers weekly salary. So teachers receive regular fixed income. So knowing the weekly amount helps in planning for their groceries, transportation, and savings, especially during school breaks or holidays. At present, teachers receive semi-monthly pay or semi-monthly salary. So let's talk about the annual salary of Ma'am Alec. So Ma'am Alec is a public school teacher earning 324,000 per year. So since she is paid weekly, let's divide her annual salary by the number of weeks in a year. And how many is that? Correct. That's 52 weeks. So to solve that problem, for the solution, the annual salary is 324,000 and the number of days in a week is 52. So our operation here is division. So to get the weekly wage, we have 324,000 divided by 52, and that is 6,230 and 77 centavos. So therefore, Alec earns 6,230 and 77 centavos in a week. Any question? Now let's have problem number 2. So this time, let's talk about the salary of a nurse with an overtime pay. So nurses often work overtime due to the shifting schedules. It will always depend on the number of patients maybe. So it's essential to understand how extra hours increase your weekly pay and how it contributes to long-term income growth. So in this scenario, JB earns 420,000 pesos per year. So and work 5 extra hours. So as mandated by the law, we all know that we should work 40 hours per week. That's according to the Labor Code of the Philippines. So in this case, the private hospital gives an overtime pay at 1.25 times his rate or his regular hourly rate. So how do we solve this problem? So for the solution, the weekly base pay will be computed by dividing it by 52 since there are 52 weeks in a year. So that will be a total of 8,000 pesos, 8,076 pesos and 92 centavos. For the regular weekly hours as mandated by the law, so that is 40 hours. To compute for the hourly rate, we have the value divided by 40, so that will be 201 pesos and 92 centavos. To get the overtime rate, we will multiply it by 1.25. So every overtime hour will be paid 252 pesos and 40 centavos. So to get the overtime pay, since JV worked for extra 5 hours, so that will be 5 times 252.4. So that's 1,262 pesos, which will be the total overtime pay. So to get the total weekly income of JV, we will add the base pay plus the overtime pay. So that's 9,338 and 92 centavos. So for the final answer, JV's total pay for the week is 9,338 and 92 centavos. Let's proceed now to the third example. So Alan is a car sales agent in Car World, Pampanga. So in this case, no, we are learning how car sales agents earn through commission. So sales job rely heavily on performance. So when you know how commission works, you can track productivity and maximize income, and maybe even set personal sales target. So Alan here earns 240,000 annually as the base salary, and he earns 2% commission for every sale. So this week, he sold 600,000 worth of cars. So how do we solve this problem? First, we write the weekly base salary, and to get that, we divide it by 52. So that will be a total of 4,615 pesos and 38 centavos. To compute for the commission, again, we will move 2 decimal places to the left of 2%. So that becomes a multiplier of 0.02 multiplied by the total number of car sales. So that's 600,000. So the total commission earned by Alan is 12,000 pesos. So to get the total income, we get the base salary and the commission. So notice that the commission again is higher than the base salary. So the total income of Alan is 16,615 and 38 centavos. That is what he earned for the week. Again, it's up to you how you're going to write your final answer. What's important that it is correctly stated and the grammar is correct. Let's have problem number 4. The next problem talks about work from home embroidery worker. So many digital freelancers or home-based workers are paid per output. So knowing how to compute this helps manage expectations, spot inconsistencies, and plan income more reliably. So in this example, Ara gets 60 pesos per item and completes 50 items per week. So she also receives 1,200 pesos monthly internet allowance, which we will divide into 4 weeks because that is monthly. So to get the weekly earnings of Ara, here is the solution. First, let us compute for the piecework pay. And to get that, we will multiply 50 by 60 pesos. So that's 3,000 pesos. For the weekly allowance, we will divide it by 4. So that's 300 pesos. For the total weekly income, that's adding 3,000, which is the base pay, and the 300 weekly allowance. So that will be a total of 3,300. So Ara's total earnings for the week is 3,300. Any question? Let's have the last problem. So Sally earns 480,000 annually and work 6 extra hours this week and got a 1,000 peso bonus. What else? Sally also receives 3,000 commission. So we are underlying some important details. The overtime work pay is paid 1.5 or 50% of the hourly rate. So remember that call center agents, such as leaders or supervisors, especially in customer service roles, often juggle fixed salary, overtime, and team bonuses. So they have a lot of pays. So understanding this full package helps us with financial literacy and negotiating better contracts in the future. So to solve this problem, for the solution, the weekly base salary is 480,000 divided by 52. So that's 9,230 and 77 centavos. To get the hourly rate, we have to divide it by 40 again. So that's 230 and 77 centavos. So this is just written like this, but you still have to encode all of the other decimals here so that you, whatever the calculator shows, you right away multiply it by 1.5. So it is just mentioned here 230 pesos and 77 centavos. But there's your calculator will reflect more of it. So multiply all of those decimals by 1.5 because every decimal counts when we talk about the hourly rate. So when we multiply it, your answer will be 346 pesos and 15 centavos. Those who will just be encoding this one might get 346 pesos and 16 centavos. So that is just a minimal discrepancy. But for consistency, we put all the other decimals of 230 pesos and 77 centavos because every part of the decimal is also part of the computation, especially when you encode them in the Microsoft Excel. Every decimal counts. For the overtime pay, that's 6 times 346 pesos and 15 centavos. That will be a total of 2,076 pesos and 92 centavos. That is multiplying the 6 extra hours worked by Sally. And to get the total, we add everything. The weekly base salary, plus the overtime pay rate, plus the bonus, plus the commission. So that's a total of 15,000. So this is a very high paying job salary. So Sally's total weekly wage for the week is 15,307 pesos and 69 centavos. So imagine this is your weekly salary. So grade 11 students, understanding how to compute your weekly income from your annual salary prepares you for real life decisions, whether it's comparing job offers, managing overtime, or setting income goals. Three skills will help you to become these skills, no, will help you become financially smart and confident. Don't forget, it's not just about solving the numbers, it's about understanding your value. Now, let's put your math skills to test with activity number 5, exploring your skills. So these are real life scenarios involving common jobs in our local communities, and they show how useful basic math is in real life. So let's start solving. So for the directions, you try to solve the following problems in your GenMath notebook. So the first problem, we'll talk about security personnel, which often works long hours with few rest days. So by computing their income weekly, we can track their earnings and set aside money for bills, food, and savings. For the second problem, which is Tina the waitress, so many service workers like Tina rely not only on their basic wage, but also on tip allowances. So understanding this helps them track actual income and avoid miscalculations in budgeting. So you can do this one, grade 11 students. These problems are just simple. yet important calculations that will show how math will help us in planning our lives, from budgeting our baon to understanding family income. So keep solving and learning. We'll check this on our classroom discussion. So see you in the next lesson. So did you learn something for today? For our next topic, we will now discuss part 3 of our computing salary, wage, and commission. So see you in the next lesson. Again, this is Sir Peter, your virtual GenMath teacher. Bye!